Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the webinar today. We're going to be doing on the top 10 reasons to upgrade to EBM Pro. This webinar today is going to be presented by Brian Hoffelder. My name is Erica McLeod. I'm going to be Brian's assistant for the webinar today. For those of you that don't know Brian, he is Vision's product developer and the person that heads our training efforts here. Brian has just over 30 years of estimating, training, and product development experience and is the perfect person to take us through this webinar today. Before the webinar begins, please note that at several times during the webinar, Brian will pause and ask if anyone has any questions. Those of you that have sound capability, you can click on the raise hand icon on your webinar taskbar. Once Brian recognizes you, he'll activate your audio and you can ask him your question. For those of you that do not have sound capability, you can instead type your question into the field called questions, also there on your webinar taskbar. And I'm going to be monitoring those and do my best to answer the typed questions that you have or get them in front of Brian so he can answer them live in the webinar for you. I also have our technical support team standing by just in case if you have a question on your current setup and need assistance after the webinar. You can type that into the questions tab as well, and I can have technical support follow up with you after the webinar as well. At this time, I will turn the webinar over to Brian so he can begin.
Thank you, Erica. And again, good morning or good afternoon to everyone. You should be looking at my outline of the 10 reasons that you would upgrade to Pro on the Electrical Bid Manager. Some of these are a little bit difficult to actually show. I can't show you multi-user support on a webinar like this. I'll just explain what that means. Multi-user support means you can have more than one person in the program. Now, if you're on a server, you can have as many people in EBM as you have licenses. The difference with the Pro is that you can have multiple users in the program in the same job at the same time. So I could be doing some fixture takeoff, somebody else could be doing some switchgear takeoff, etc. Now, just so you know how to tell if you have the Pro version and it's installed properly, if you go to Help and About, you will see here it says Pro on the top of the screen. It also tells you up at the top here in the heading that you're on the Pro version. Otherwise, it'll say Plus or Standard. So once you upgrade to the Pro, that'll be there. It'll also tell you how many licenses you have and how many of those licenses are Pro. So the multi-user support would primarily apply to somebody running this on a network. So again, you could have 2 licenses for EBM on your and be running EBM on your server. You could have it installed on 10, 20 workstations. That's not a problem, but only as many people can get into the program as you have licenses for. So when user A logs in, it'll know that. When user B or C logs in, that'll be fine. But when the third one tries to log in, if you only have 2 licenses, it'll tell you that you can't do that. So purchasing additional licenses is easy. It's just a matter of obviously paying for it. Same thing with the Pro version. It's all a matter of just putting codes into your system. So we can unlock multiple users and we can unlock the the Pro features just by giving you additional code numbers. Okay, so I hope that explains what multiple user support means. The next thing that EBM, the Pro version automatically includes, and you may have this if you have the Plus or the Standard version, but it's automatically included with the Pro, is integration with on-screen electronic takeoff. Now we support 2 programs. We support one that's actually called on-screen takeoff, and then we also support one called PlanSwift. Those are separate companies, third-party purchases. So obviously you have to own that program. And then if you have Pro, the link is there automatically. If you have Plus or Standard, it would be a link that you have to add to the system. And there's typically a fee involved with that to use the electronic integration with Plus or Standard, but with Pro it's included. So if you're thinking about using PlanSwift, for example, that would be a reason to upgrade to the Pro because the integration would be included automatically. So those are 2 of the biggest things that are included with the Pro version. Multi-user support. I can have more than one person in the job at the same time. Now, if you do that, there is a limitation. It'll catch you on this. If you try to go to reports and do the job extension, for example, or the job totals, it will force you to go into what's called single user mode. You can't have other people inputting to the job at the same time you're trying to generate the reports to finish up the job, which is logical, but it'll catch that automatically. So when you have the Pro version, you can be operating in single user mode, which is what I'm in now, or multi-user mode, which will limit the ability to run the reports if somebody else is doing takeoff. Okay. Now the Pro version has some additional filters on the audit trail. These are really handy when you're managing the navigation in the audit trail of large jobs. You know, it doesn't take much for your audit trail to get a couple hundred or 1,000 entries, and then it gets pretty challenging to find things and move around the audit trail and do your work in the audit trail. So what the Pro version does, let's see, I've got a job open. I'll go to the audit trail. Is it gives you the additional filters down here. Now the Plus version has the ability to sort the audit trail. So if I want to sort by module, for example, and then it groups all of the entries by the module you took it off in. So a good example would be feeders, there's miscellaneous takeoff, there's some branch circuits, there's lighting, etc. So that's a standard feature in the standard of the Plus version. What the Pro version does is this. It lets you set up filters. So in the audit trail, I can set up a filter that says, I just want to look at my fixture takeoff. So I can hit clear all down here and just check fixtures. And then when I hit OK here, I can hit the box to implement the filter. I could still sort by entry order, that's not a problem. So now I've only got the fixtures on the audit trail. So now it's just a few entries. So that's a really powerful feature, these filter setups, when you're trying to manipulate, or maybe a better word is navigate the audit trail in a large job. Just helps you isolate or go to the parts you want to see on your audit trail. Okay, so that's the difference in the audit trail filters between the Pro version and the Standard or Plus. I believe they're the same on the Standard and Plus. The Standard version may even have a limitation on the sort methods. I'd have to check that out, but that's the big difference with the Pro version. The spreadsheet option is a really handy option I use with people all the time when we're doing training and customizing the database and trying to make adjustments. In the Pro version, if you go up to database here and go to edit view print, you know, if you want to change or look at your EMT, for example, you can hit this little button that says print view and hit OK, but it doesn't let you edit anything here. It just gives you the numbers. The spreadsheet is cool because if I hit spreadsheet here, it puts it into a spreadsheet format, and now I can actually make changes. I can change labor units. I can change things from open to I can check open if I want to open on a price or a labor unit. Let me back out of here for just a second. I'll do a little larger group here. I'll go to wire, and I can actually put all of the wire into a spreadsheet. Just hit spreadsheet. And it's going to put quite a few items, almost 600 items there, but they're in a nice spreadsheet now, so I can look at the pricing. Shows me the trade price, the discount, the target price, the unit of measure, all the important stuff, including the UPC number over here, the item number, the catalog number. It's all there on a spreadsheet, and you can edit this. You can actually make changes just by moving around the spreadsheet. So that's a pretty nice little tool if you're going to be working on your database. So with the Pro version also, I mean, this doesn't have to be on a network. You can open multiple jobs simultaneously. I could open job A and job B at the same time. And let me show you an example of that. So right now I'm in this job called Sample Commercial Job Copy. It's a copy of the sample commercial job that's in the setup that goes out on new loads. But I can also open up either another job or say a change order. I've already created a change order for this job, but I want to have them both open simultaneously. So what you do is go to Job File, and you come down here to Open, and you hit the option here, Open in another EBM. I messed up there. I've already got that open. So what I should have done is first open the other job I want to, or go to the screen that shows the other job. So I want to open up the change order for this job. There we go. So now I've already got the sample commercial job open. I want to simultaneously open up the change order. So I hit open in another EBM. You'll see the program actually launches again. Here it comes. So now I actually have two sections of EBM open. If you look up here in the top left, that's the change order. If I just toggle by holding Alt-Tab, there's the original job, sample commercial job. So by just using Alt-Tab, I can move back and forth between the two jobs. They're both open at the same time. Okay. So now I can copy and paste between the jobs. Maybe I want to copy and paste something from my master job, the original job, to my change order. And a good example of that would be a fixture takeoff. That way you don't have to recreate the fixture schedule in the change order. So we're going to go back to the original job. Now, I've already got it sorted, filtered by the fixture schedule. So this is the master job. I'm going to highlight all the fixtures here because I want to copy them to the change order. You just right-click in the audit trail, and you hit copy, puts it in memory. You Alt-Tab back to the change order. See, I'm in the change order. You go to the audit trail, and you right-click and paste. So this would be handy if you've already taken off a job and you got a similar job and you want to just copy and paste part of it into a new job. There it is. Now, the cool thing about this, just came up with a customer a few days ago. When you normally create a change order, it doesn't know anything about the fixtures or the feeders, anything that you did in the original takeoff. This way you've got your whole fixture schedule in here. Now in the change order, I'm actually going to delete everything in the change order as far as the fixtures. But the fixture setup is still there. So even though the change order is empty at this point, if I go to Fixtures and Devices Takeoff and go to Light Fixtures, hit the little drop down arrow, all my fixtures are here. And even on top of that, what's really cool here is it knows to use the prices and labor units that are set up as the defaults for a change order. So specifically what I'm referring to here is it's going to use column 3 on the labor. So that's column 3 on the labor. It's a higher number than I used in my bid. And on the material here, I think there's some MC cable here. Yep. That's the trade price on the material. In the bid, we use the target price. So it's smart enough to use the change order pricing in labor units on a change order, even though you copied the fixture schedule from the original job. I think that's pretty cool. Same thing with feeders. If you need the feeders that you set up in the original job copied into the change order, you can do that, and then just delete it from the change order. The schedule will still be there, just like it is with the fixtures. All the fixtures I set up are here. I think that's a really cool feature. This next one is just kind of a little thing to know about. You can adjust labor units on individual items on the fly. Now, some people think this is really important because they really like to tweak things. Okay, let's go back to the master. This is the master job. Okay, so let's say, for example, I want to change my, let's get the filter out of here. Okay, So for whatever reason, let's say I want to change the labor unit on this box for this entry only. Now in the plus version, you can't do that. If you change the labor hours on this, or you change it from column 2 to column 3 on the labor, it will do it throughout the job. But if I hit edit here, these little check boxes appear on the Pro version that aren't on the Plus version. So my default is to use column 2, but let's say for whatever reason I want to use column 3 on just this one entry. I can do that. And now it's got, and it's also put the little star there, so you know what it did. You know you modified something on the labor, but everything else is still column 2. But that one item on that one entry is now column 3. So you can just do that on the fly. You could say, I want to change my labor units on the plate. I think that's kind of silly, but you get the idea. I want to use column 1 on the plate. So it allows you to be a lot more selective. And again, just put your little star there. So that's what we mean by changing items on the fly. You can make your editing selective for just that one entry. Also in the Audit Trail, the Pro version displays a little more information about the totals for the assemblies. And I'll show you what that means. So if you scroll over here to the right, these numbers aren't on the Pro version. That's the total price for that assembly, material cost, total labor, and the total combined. That's the number that's not on the Plus version. The Plus version shows you the extended labor. It doesn't show you if you factored it because it doesn't allow you to factor on the fly. But then it shows you the factored labor. It shows you the total price of the material, the total labor, and then the total combined price of the material and labor for that assembly. So it just opens up a little more information as far as analyzing what you've taken off on the Audit Trail. And let's keep going here. That's this one. So the free specialty databases, what that's about, again, that's an option you can add to the Plus for the standard version. If I go to, let's go to database. I'm going to hit all items. Down here under specialty databases, when you have the Pro version, all of these are unlocked. The Plus version, I believe you get residential, demolition, and voice and data. On the Pro version, they're all unlocked and there for you to use. You can add those to the Plus version, and then those will not be grayed out. And let me just flip back. I'm going to flip back and go into the Plus version for just a minute. And you'll see how that's going to look a little bit different. So now I'm logged in the Plus mode. You see it says Plus up here. And I come down here to specialty databases. That's so these three are the ones that are included with the Plus version. And then they're grayed out now because I'm running in the Pro version. I'm in the Pro mode. And then I'm going to go back again to my Pro version. So I'm back in the EBM Pro mode. So the last thing on our list of 10 here is the ability to create labor columns on the fly, or to create additional labor columns. And I use this all the time when I'm working with companies, and I even tell people, you know, if you start using the program and you use labor column 2 and you find it's a little bit higher, a little bit low, instead of putting a factor, which is fine, when you bring up a job, and we're going to go to job extension, you can put a labor factor up here, and then it'll use that on this extension. You can even tell it to save it. But if you just say I want to create a column 4, and I want it to be 20% higher than column 2, because I'm finding that that's what I need for most of my bidding. In the Pro version, you've got an option under database. And we have to think about, yeah, it's under batch modify, and it's create labor column. It is real easy. I'm going to create column 4. I'm going to make it 120% of column 2. And we'll hit OK. I'm going to tell it to override anything that's already there. It makes you confirm it. So now when I go to database, and we'll go to conduit, and we'll hit the spreadsheet, you're going to see that column 4 is now filled in all the way from top to bottom in the database. So it took 2.5, added to 20%, and gave me 3 for labor column 4. And I believe this is a pro feature too. You can actually name those columns. This may take a little bit of digging on my part, but I think it's under program settings, and it's under descriptions. So I can call this column 2 plus 20. Just a little bit of room here, 20%. There we go. There we go. So now when I go to extend the job, I'll actually, instead of saying column 4, it'll have this new name. You could call it, standard bidding column, whatever you want to abbreviate it to. But now when I go to the job extension here, there's my new column. Okay. I think that about wraps it up. I haven't seen any questions here. Erica, have you? Are you still there?
I'm here. I haven't seen any questions either.
Okay. I'm going to go to the last slide I've got here. But please jump in, hit that raised hand, or you can use the chat option on the taskbar there to type a question in. So just to let you know what we've got coming up here at Vision for the training, we've actually added some classes this month. We've had a lot of people that have been doing the virtual online training. If you haven't heard about that, it's a really neat option where I actually have multiple people on my screen. I've got a big screen, and I can handle usually up to about 6 people at a time in what we call a virtual classroom. So I can actually see your screen, with Zoom like we're or GoToMeeting like we're using now. It's all a one-to-one thing. I can broadcast to multiple people, but I can't see your screen. I can do one-on-one and see your screen with GoToMeeting and Zoom and all those, but you can't actually, I can't see multiple screens. So what we have is a virtual classroom. It's called Cloud Share. And so I actually have every student's screen on my large screen, and I can see exactly what you're looking at and explain, how to go through the program. It's actual classroom setting. You can also do individual training. If you're interested in either of those options, you can call that 800 number there and hit extension 2. Erica and Carrie can help you with the classroom options, the costs, and the schedule and all that. But we've got several classes coming up. I believe the ones on the 17th and 18th and 26th are sold out.
Yes, they
I probably shouldn't have put them on here, but we've got the same classes coming up the following week, 2 weeks later on the April 1st and 2nd, and then March 31st. So you've got plenty of classes coming up here. Yeah. I think that's going to wrap it up. I'll turn it back to Erica to sign off here. She'll let you know anything else you need to know about following up with us as far as program features, program questions, or training. Thank you all for attending the class or attending the webinar.
Yeah, thank you, Brian, for that presentation. If anyone should have any follow-up questions from today's webinar, our phone number's down at the bottom of your screen, 1-800-258-7752 or 1-800-605-2167. You can dial 1 for our sales department if you'd like to know more about the pro features or would like to upgrade your setup. Extension 1 will get to our sales team. If you would like technical support, you can dial extension 3 at our 800 numbers there down at the bottom of your screen, or to reach Carrie or myself, your account managers, dial extension 2 if you have any questions. Our technical support hours, Monday through Friday from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific if you need technical support assistance and you have a current maintenance plan. You can also email our support team at support@visioninfosoft.com if you have any questions. And to learn more about our other various products and services, you can also visit our website at www.visioninfosoft.com. And you can also keep up to date on what is happening here at Vision on our various social networking sites. We're available on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and our company YouTube channel. You can hit up youtube.com/visioninfosoft, and we have a lot of training videos and our video content that is posted there as well. I would like to thank everyone again for joining us today. This concludes the webinar. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your day. Goodbye.